So I engaged in a multitude of sports before when I was a kid. So ang dami kong ginawang sports. Like I did swimming, I did ballet, I did karate,
Mm.
and then I did wushu. I also did ice skating. Tapos
Oh.
out of that five sports, when I turned 12 or 13, I chose wushu. Kasi yung mga ibang sports, hindi ko na siya magagawa. For example, ice skating. I have to be
Oo.
beside a mall kasi
Yeah.
that's where they train, right? Like
Yeah.
ice hockey, ice skating, speed
Mm.
skating, lahat dun sa mall yun. And then ballet, I wasn't that girly before. So I
Mm.
decided to stop that. And then karate, we had like some problems with the club, so we stopped that as well. And then what was left was swimming and then wushu. Yung nangyari sa swimming ko is my passion died. I don't know why, pero I think it just happens talaga to the best of us. It just dies. And
Mm.
then I started focusing on wushu more. And then I fell in love with the sport as I became more consistent with training. Yun.
Okay. So how do you think you fell in love with it, even if it's, not really a known sport here in the Philippines at least? And syempre like here it's like mga volleyball or football or I don't know, like yeah,
Yeah.
like swimming or what else? I don't know, like the other sports that girls normally play. Like it's not really the traditional sport. So how do you think you loved it? And it's like even if it's like pretty unique.
I think what really caught my eye in wushu was how hard it was for a girl.
Oh, yeah.
Before kasi up until now, most of my teammates are guys, and I don't really pay mind to that kasi what matters to me is how it makes me feel. How doing wushu makes me feel. It makes me feel very invigorated, and it makes me feel excited and scared every time I compete.
Mm.
Tapos sa wushu kasi wala kaming mga levels. So when you reach a certain age, which is 18, you can compete na in like the top competition. So kahit na ano yung level mo, you can compete na. Pero kasi yung catch dun is you can't run out of forms or kumbaga like categories to learn. So for example, right now, like ang daming lumalabas na bagong traditional forms, like there's the drunken sword, drunken fist, there's the chain whip. Ang dami mong pwedeng matutunan even if you're a professional wushu athlete. So that's the one thing that I really like sa wushu. It made me fell in love kasi hindi ka mauubusan ng papag-aralan. And I like learning
Mm.
every day. And I like, I guess I like giving myself a hard time na rin every day. So
Yeah.
I think that's ano, me and Wushu are like a perfect combo. Like yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for some of the viewers, maybe nga, they're not really familiar with the sport. And me personally, I just saw it before, like on TV. I don't really watch it. And then, syempre, before like before this interview, I prepared and then I checked like in YouTube, like your competitions before and how you do it. So, syempre, it's really tough nga. Parang sabi ko, wow, ang hirap pala nun. Parang feeling mo lang walang nangyayari. Pero it's really tough.
Yeah, it is. Honestly, up until now, even after nakailang years na ba ako? Like more than 10 years na ako sa wushu. I still find it hard. I'm
Mm.
not gonna admit na it's easy kasi it's really hard for me, especially before a competition. Every competition naman kahit na ano siya, kahit na Asian Championships or like Asia and traditional, lalo na SEA Games and Asian Games, it's really hard for me kasi yung nerves, kasi mag-isa ka lang noon. Wushu is usually an individual sport sa
Mm.
category ko, which is Taolu. So,
Yeah.
you have to be by yourself, tapos no one's gonna help you if you
Mm.
have a mistake. So, you're really your own sole responsibility.
Yeah. Before pala we continue, I wanted to ask lang if you could like explain like the objective of wushu, like for the people that might not understand. Like kunwari, ano yung, yeah, what's the objective? Like how do you win the gold medal? And maybe ano yung mga hurdles like during the competition na nahihirapan ka pero na-overcome pa din. Yung mga ganun basic concepts lang para lang they get it or something.
Yeah, sure. So,
Yeah.
what from what we know kasi, compared to other martial arts, karate is from Japan, taekwondo is from Korea, so wushu naturally came from China.
Yeah.
So in wushu, there's always two categories. Sa martial arts, may dalawang category, di ba? Sa taekwondo, there's pumse, and then there's the other category. I
Mm.
forgot. Sa karate naman, there's kata, and then the other one that I also
Yeah.
forgot.
Yeah.
In wushu, there's taolu and then there's sanda. So sanda is the sparring part of the martial art, and then taolu is the performance base of the martial art. So in sanda, bawat suntok sipa may puntos.
Oh.
So ganun lang. It's like boxing. So bawat punch, you throw a kick. There's 1 or 2 points. So it's basically easy naman to understand. So in Sanda, it's really safe kasi you have a headgear, you have gloves, you have a body gear.
Mm.
You also have shin guards. So that's really safe lang for us as wushu athletes. And then sa Taolu, honestly sa Taolu, it's much more difficult kasi yung physical qualifications for each person, it's very different. So sa Sanda, you have to be buff, you have to be stiff, but you also have to be kind of flexible. So wushu, sa Taolu, it's very different. You have to be flexible, you have to have power. Tapos kailangan very developed yung muscles mo early on as a child. Kasi if you develop them late na, hindi na magka-catch up yung flexibility mo.
Ah,
So
okay.
sa Taolu there are three categories, main categories. So each person or each child when they start wushu, they always enter the first category, which is changchuan. So that means long fist. So sa changchuan there are five categories. So changchuan meaning bare hands, merong staff, merong spear, merong straight sword, merong broadsword. So the coach decides which person branches out to which category. And the second one, pagkatapos ng tao dun sa changchuan, pag feeling ng coach, medyo masyado siyang powerful, masyado siyang, the person's kind of short, he or she transfers the person to nanchuan, which is yung may mga tumbling tapos yung may mga sigaw. So
Ah,
makikita mo yun sa wushu, pag may sigaw yung tao, that
mm.
means nanchuan. And then when the coach feels that the person is more meek, tapos very flexible, very soft yung movements, he branches the person out to Tai Chi Chuan. So that's my category, Tai Chi Chuan. Sa Tai Chi naman, it's more of soft movements. Tapos yung mga jumps namin, we jump and then land on one foot. So for each category, there's their own difficulty. So sa Tai Chi, there's only the straight sword and then the bare hands. Sa Nanchuan, there's the broadsword and also the cudgel. And then sa Changchuan, it's either spear ka or straight sword or broadsword ka and cudgel. So medyo mahirap siyang intindihin right now kasi I don't have like the
Yeah,
parang the branch of it,
yeah,
but yun yung epitome of wushu. So
yeah.
yun.
So yung sa category mo specifically, like kung saan ka nanalo ng gold, like yung pinaka-recent na SEA Games. So yung coach mo lang yung nag-assign like based on your strength and your physique, ano?
Yeah, so the coach bases what category you would put into when you're young pa. So for
Ah,
example, when
okay.
you turn 21, you can't transfer to another category kasi iba na
Oh.
talaga eh. Like pag na-determine na kung kung saan ka mas best fitted for, dun ka na magsistay.
Mm.
You can still learn from Changchuan, for example, Nanchuan ka, you can still learn from Changchuan or Tai Chi, pero hindi ka makaka-compete dun kasi it's not your specialty. So the coach knows best. So when I started Wushu at 2008, and then 2012, they decided to put me in Tai Chi Chuan. So dun ako talaga
Oh.
nagstay sa Tai Chi Chuan.